So it's now 3 a.m. still in Fairbanks. We got on our plane and sat there for 2.5 hours. Then had to get off. Then spent another 2 hours on the phone. I'm exhausted. Everyone's exhausted. This is one big cluster. I just want my bed. So here's the update. We are in Columbus. I don't even know. It's like almost 4 p.m. We haven't eaten anything more than snack food in like more than 12 hours. Since 9 p.m. yesterday. Haven't slept. Just, I'm never flying Delta again. Anyways, we got grapes and Cheez-Its.
And a turkey sandwich.
Yeah, for you. This is pretty much what we've been eating. I don't think I've ever been so happy to be going to Boston. We need a shower. We stink.
I don't think I stink.
I definitely do.
I just need a shower.
We can't smell it. We're desensitized. So.
Okay.
Hi, babies! Hi! Let's go for a walk! Good evening. So it's about 7:50 something, and I still needed to get a bunch of steps. So I'm taking the dogs for a walk. No idea even what day it is, what time it is. I am like all like blah, but I thought I'd take this time to explain why I will never be flying Delta again. So this was not even the first bad experience I had with Delta. We've had bad experiences over the years, and the only reason I flew Delta for this trip was because that was what I had it booked with the trip that I was supposed to take last year, so I couldn't get money back. I had to use my credits. So that was the only reason that I booked Delta. We get there. Flying there was honestly fine. Getting into Anchorage, everything was super smooth, and the only problem became when we were getting to Fairbanks. So first of all, our flight started boarding at 9:50. So we got to the airport at 7 to drop off the car and then eat, but we couldn't even get through. The Delta people didn't even show up until 8:30 to the airport. So nobody, there was like a line going literally down the whole Fairbanks airport, which is not a big airport, so it took up like the whole thing. So we were talking in line with our new friend Ethan, and so Ethan lives in Fairbanks and has not been able to travel home to see his family for 2 years. So that's what he was doing. And he told us that 6 times that day they had canceled or rescheduled his flight. So he was literally like trying to travel home for like a full day. And that in itself is ridiculous. And the way that they didn't even apologize for that, I was angry for him. And I can only hope that he got home. I mean, it was just a horrible situation. That was just one of many. So we're in line with him. He was like, yeah, they kind of did this all day. They kept rescheduling and canceling. So he'd been at the airport all day. And then we finally got through and we started boarding, get on the plane, and then we end up sitting there for about half an hour. And they're like, okay, so we're having problems with the computer and the weight balance or whatever. And so everyone's like, okay, whatever. 2.5 hours go by. We're still sitting on the plane and they say, okay, sorry to do this. You guys have to get off now because we can't figure out the computer system, and our flight crew has reached their maximum hours or whatever. So that was fun. So they told us that there were technical problems and they didn't have staff. So we all get off, and as we're getting off, there's a Delta person saying, call this number. And we're like, why can't we talk to you? And she's like, we can't help you. You need to call this number. So everyone all at once, this whole flight is calling now this one number. And I was on the phone with them for over 2 hours. 2 hours. We were sitting in the airport, just all of us were just sitting there, all calling the same number, and it was, nobody could get through, and it was just impossible. And oh, there's Rocky. Just gonna look at this nice view for a second. Wow. So then we finally get in touch with someone, and they're like, okay, the best we can do is we can get you into Boston at 11 p.m. tomorrow. And we're like, that's not gonna work. Do something different. So originally our connection was supposed to be at 7:30 a.m. from Minneapolis, and then we'd had a direct flight to Boston. Then we didn't board our flight until 3 a.m., which got us in at 11, whatever. It was just, we missed our connecting flight basically. And they said, well, we can't do anything for you. We can't get you any direct to Boston until 7 p.m. So you're gonna fly now to Columbus, and then from Columbus to Boston. And the time in between those flights was about 20 minutes each, and we had to run, like sprint. So we almost missed these new flights that they gave us. And then finally got to our last flight in Columbus to Boston, and another couple that was with us on from that first flight in Fairbanks, they were waiting because the ticket that the Delta people gave them was a replica ticket, so someone else already had those seats, so they were just basically screwed. So basically they were given bad tickets, whatever. So we finally got through, and luckily our luggage was not lost. My suitcase is broken. It was broken from the first flight to Anchorage, so it broke when we got to Alaska, but it's like one of the wheels is literally falling off now, so that's awesome. And this whole time they weren't really apologizing, they were not really trying to help us. Some of the employees did apologize, but otherwise they were like, well, like we've had one of them said we've been here for 12 hours too, and it's like, okay, it's your job to be here. We were not supposed to be here this long. You were, we weren't. So it's just like they were, I don't know. I've worked in customer service. The customer's always right, but apparently not in this case. Anyways, it was just a terrible experience, and the employees were not helpful, and there were just, it was horrible. So I will not be flying Delta again. It's just terrible, and I'm not putting this out there to like get something out of it. Like, I don't want them to reach out to me and be like, oh, here's a free flight. I don't have any desire to ever fly with them again. What I would really love, step up your game, Delta. It's ridiculous. Also, your customer service, trying to get in touch with someone before my flight to make sure everything was good, impossible. Trying to call them, impossible. I waited for 3 days for that instant message thing, never got a response. So just step it up. And on that note, look at this beautiful scene. Look at this beautiful dog. And on that note, I know it's kind of dark, but if you made it to this point, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. I hope that you don't have this experience like we did, and I'll see you when I see you. Oh, Gracie.